There we go. Okay. All right. I think we got the sound working. Okay. One more time for for posterity. We practice. I promise. We're professionals. Uh, welcome everyone to tonight's stream. My name is Eric Hackler, and I'm here with ShelbyLynn. And we are together. We are going to be doing a very cool photo poetry live stream. We've done this once before with photos from Alaska, and tonight we're doing it with photos of water. Let's see, how's that on sound? Can we hear us now? So tonight the plan is to edit a collection of photos, like I said, themed around water, photos that I've taken from around the U.S. And then, as I'm doing that, ShelbyLynn is going to be composing poems about each one as we go. And once I finish each photo, ShelbyLynn will then read to us the poem that she's composed, and we'll do it again from there. So just kind of work our way through. We'll spend a couple hours tonight doing this. As you can see down at the bottom of my screen here, I've got a selection of photos that we've chosen, and ShelbyLynn does, like, she picked a couple of them out that she wants to do, but the rest is up to me. So we'll surprise her and see what we end up doing.
I also don't know what order we're going in at all.
That's true. So, yeah, we'll go from that. So, as always, as I've said, this is an open forum. As much as this is our platform, I want it to be yours as well. So, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in chat, or comment them if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube. And and we will answer them. We'll talk about our process as we go. Also, if you are an artist of any kind, if you spend part of your day creating, I would love to see the work you do. So please, again, feel free to drop links to your work either in chat or in comments after the fact, and let us know what you think. So with that said, one other thing, if you would like to support either of us, you can see my website is down below. ShelbyLynn's Instagram is there. You can go there to support us. With me, you can buy prints of my photos, or support me in that way. And with ShelbyLynn, you can buy her book.
It's on Amazon.
It is on Amazon. So that's the plan for tonight. And you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So here we go. So this is the photo, obviously our graphic photo. We've already edited that one. If you're curious, that's what it started as. That's what it looks like now. And then I want to start with this one, which I know is one of ShelbyLynn's favorites.
Yes,
so,
it is.
There we go. All right. So this is what we're going to start with. I'm going to start by widening the crop on this one a little bit. So this is a shot from Skagway in Alaska, which is a fun little small, not a mining town, but by the way, tonight's tea is chai brought to us by Thickless Cage, as it should. So Skagway, interestingly, and I'm, if you've watched the stream before, you know I love talking about the history of the places that I'm working on in the photos. But also, like, tonight it's a little more fun because I also get to talk a little bit and give ShelbyLynn time to work on poems. So this photo.
Although I did beat you to finishing poems last time.
You did. You definitely were ahead of me on some of these. But I'm a better photographer now. So what do you want? In this case, these photos. So Skagway was a. Dehazing is a good idea for this one, but I think I need to separate the front and the back. Let's see if I can get to select a subject. So Skagway, when the Yukon Gold Rush became a thing, when people started hearing about that down in the lower 48, and of course, really, that's all you selected as the subject. Lightroom, sometimes you disappoint me. I gotta see what's going on with your latest update. All right, let's delete that. Let's try again. Let's try an object. See if I can get it to just. I can select this because I really don't want it to do it another way. Let's do this. We're gonna get this whole foreground. If not, I'm gonna have to get creative with it. All right, there we go. That's the whole thing. It's gonna skip for a bit. Stream's gonna lag, but we'll go from there. All right. So, so Skagway is so the Yukon Gold Rush. People in the lower 48 heard about the gold up in the Yukon, which is in Canada. They immediately decided, oh, I need to rush up there to see what's going on. Of course, in traditional American fashion, got to find the get rich quick scheme. There we go. That is perfect. That's actually damn near perfect. Excellent. Typical American get rich quick plan. By the time people heard that there was gold up in the Yukon, all the meaningful mining sites had been grabbed up. So they're already behind to the point that it makes it meaningless. But still, people rushed up to the Yukon to try and make their fortune and claim their spot. That's the exact opposite of what I wanted this thing to do. We're gonna just delete that. Let's zoom in some more and tweak this. Yeah, ShelbyLynn, I'm telling you, you're gonna have an advantage for any photo I need to do some significant masking on.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's fair. There's gonna be at least one that I refuse to mask just for this reason.
I haven't written much in the last year. I think in total in the last year I've written about 3 poems. So
right,
a little out of practice.
Hey, we're getting back into it.
I'll take the advantage.
This is my second time streaming since moving to this apartment. Second time streaming since July. So I'll take it as well. But anyway, so people rushed up there to try and find gold. And the route most people took was from let's add a little bit to here. Was from I think I can work with that. Was from Seattle or Juneau or British Columbia up to Skagway, which is a town of 800 people, which cropped up during this thing. It wasn't a place before, but people this is the best spot to cross the mountains into. Hey, duplicate and invert, take a shot. Best place to cross the mountains into Canada, so this is where people stopped, and Skagway became a thing. And in this case, so this is a waterfall kind of off the beaten path in Skagway, and it makes for a good shot. And I have photos of this waterfall that I really enjoyed as well. That I've probably edit on a future stream. I think there's one more. Is that one? No, that's different. This one there's there it is. Okay, so here's another. Just real quick, here's another photo of this waterfall, taken from a more more normalized angle. What I like about anyway, so this is kind of off the beaten path in Skagway, and it was a very rainy day, which of course added to the flow of the waterfall and caught my attention here of just this branch here that I thought was interesting. Let's work on this mask here. I want to brighten that up a little bit. There we go. I want to make that the centerpiece. Let's go to my mask in the back and let's bring the blacks down just a bit. Give me a little more of a thing. Do I want to put the clarity up? No. I want to put the clarity down. No, I think I want to leave the clarity kind of where it is. That makes sense. And then I'm going to dehaze the background a little bit because that gives me a little more clarity, a little more sharpness to it, which I like. But the thing I liked about this thing is a lot of my photography, as much as I can, I like to make it about relationships. I like my photos to showcase not just the cool and wonderful things in the world, but also showcase the way they interact with each other. God bless Thickless. And the thing I really liked about this photo and this composition was that you had obviously in the background you've got the waterfall surrounded by some greenery, but here you've got the tree and just the water droplets coming down, and that felt like a good way to have in the back you've got the full force of the water, and then in the front you've got just the drops. And I think that's one of my favorite films is Cloud Atlas, and it's got that famous quote of "What is an ocean but a multitude of drops?" And so this made me think of that.
So this photo, the first thing that it made me think of was an anxiety attack.
I love the way this happens. I love the way we interact with each other. What about an anxiety attack?
So the feeling of having all of those feelings just crash over you all at once, and then just trying to get out of it by taking a moment to just focus on only what's directly in front of you.
I like that.
So that's kind of the theme of this poem.
I got you. Trying to find some peace in the in the chaos of everything. That's pretty great. I'm a big fan of that. All right, let's see. debating because if I push the waterfall all the way bright, it adds more contrast. If I pull it back, you get a little more detail in it. I'm gonna try to find a middle ground, something like that. Let's see. Bring up the whites in the background. It's not. It, again, gives me more contrast, but doesn't help my details. Let's put that back. I want to adjust shadows at all? Maybe a little bit. Bring the shadows up. Let's come down here to the sharpness and pull that down a bit. Once I push it up. Next, nothing, because it's out of focus, which is intentional. All right, let's take a look at some of the noise here. See how we're doing noise-wise. We're actually doing really well noise-wise. Okay, cool. Let's see. What else do I want to do? I can play with saturation and kind of desaturate the background. That's actually a pretty good idea. If I desaturate the background a little bit, again, draws our attention to the branch in the front while not losing what's in the background. Push it a little bit toward green, maybe. A little bit of something there. I don't want to go toward blue. There's probably some blue in the water that I'm gonna pull out, but I think I want to stick with this. This crop is not making me happy yet. I go something like this. Yeah, that's better. Let's come down a little more. Right to the tip of that little branch. There we go. Down from here a little. Yeah, that makes a difference. If I come down just to the green. No, it doesn't. I like having that curve down. There we go. There we go. The more I do that, the more it's clear what the subject is the branch in front, but it also makes you notice that those drops right there, which is excellent. I think that's. I can't totally tell if that's what that little red bit is a reflection of. It might be a reflection of me. I had a little bit of red on my jacket. Okay, let's see. Let's work on. Let's play with some color. Bring up the greens. This is one of my things about a lot, like just my natural instinct with my photos of Alaska is to brighten up the greens and the vibrant and the blues and stuff. Just because, actually, I think I want the blues out of this one. I think this photo is better if the water is just white. And I can do this. I can bring that down. If I bring the aquas up, it'll brighten up just a little bit of the edge, which is good. Yeah, this is coming together quite nicely. But yeah, is that like we tend to think of Alaska as this like gigantic, austere, kind of cruel, unforgiving, foreboding landscape, and it's really not. I mean, there's parts that certainly are, and I have not gotten the chance to explore a whole lot of the kind of more intense parts of Alaska, but there are huge. Like Alaska has the second largest rainforest in the world. Like there's a temperate rainforest. Temperate rainforest down on the, if you imagine Alaska as like a hand down on the thumb, and there's a temperate rainforest down there is like it's the same ecological effect that causes Seattle to be rainy, but because it's just so much untouched nature, you end up with a massive rainforest. There's so much of Alaska that just is beautiful like that. So it's a thing I definitely like to highlight as part of these photos. Is that part of the mask? Go back to the mask real quick. It's not actually. That's interesting. Okay. Part of this one? As it should be. Okay, that's fine. Alright, back to the edit. How you doing on that poem, ShelbyLynn?
I think I'm almost done.
Excellent. So we can bring the greens up. We can also bring the yellows up. And that actually might be the better way to do it because that's going to make the green stand out because I'm a big fan of contrast. So there's something like that. Let's see. I might want to do one thing. There's a section of this area in here that I think is having a bit of an issue. I want to work on. Doing all right? I know you guys can't see what ShelbyLynn's working on. Let me scroll down a bit for you.
No, don't scroll down. I accidentally messed something up.
I'm not scrolling down. We'll come back to this.
Hold on.
I will wait for her to tell me when she wants me to scroll. We'll hold off on this. In the meantime, I'll finish up this photo.
Okay, now we're good.
We're good to scroll?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to scroll a little bit just so you guys get a little more of a sense of... Oh, man, she keeps going. Come down to the bottom here. ShelbyLynn, feel free to tell me when to scroll throughout this whole process.
I can't see.
Huh?
I don't know when to scroll.
Right now, I've got the top 2/3 of my screen started from a leaf, and then you've got
mine is a very different screen.
Oh, that's right. You zoomed in differently. Okay, cool. That's all right. I'll try to keep up with you. Yeah. So I like finding the kind of more vibrant beauty in Alaska that people don't usually expect to be there, which is really nice. I'm happy with how this photo is looking. I'm gonna crop in a little bit more, just to get a little more of that. Nah, I want more of the edge there. Something like that. Do I want to crop in a bit? No, if I crop in from here, I lose the stream. I can probably don't do that. I can probably go about half there, like that. That's probably good. Yeah. And feel free to weigh in if I'm sitting here trying to make a decision. Feel free to weigh in and go, oh, you're ruining it, or oh, it's better the other way, or however you see it. Let's try this. A little more. Yeah, I think I like that. I think it makes it look like a bow. B-O-U-G-H, in case you're curious. Okay, let's play with our colors a little bit here. Could push yellow toward green. I'm moving green. I want to move yellow. I can move yellow toward green and get this whole thing to look kind of like that. I think a little bit of a difference is good. A little bit's a difference. Let's see. Is orange at play at all in here? A little bit in the rocks, actually. And I kind of like that. I like having a little bit of that color in there. So let's add that. Red. Not really. No real reds in here. Let's put the reds back. I could push the oranges a little more toward green and just have them blend in, or I could go the other direction, make them go full red. I think I'm gonna leave them at orange because I get a little bit of color in the rocks. I get a little bit of color up here in the on my bow, and a little bit right over here. I like that. I think that looks pretty cool. All right. What do you think, ShelbyLynn? How's that look?
It's looking good.
Looking good. How's your poem looking?
If it'll catch up to my writing, it'll be done.
Couple steps ahead of yourself. Let's see. Just adjusting my brightness and shadows a little bit. I always like to bring down the blacks just a touch, just to give it a little more sharpness, because that's the thing that I'm a fan of. Bring the highlights. I'm moving the highlights up on the whole photo, and then go back to my mask here. That's the water, and bring them down just a little bit more. There we go. And then the one thing I wanted to do, that's got that one. Okay, I'm gonna just duplicate the first mask, which is gonna make it look ridiculous. And then I'm going to. Can I reset the mask from here? I can reset it from here. There we go. Reset. Cool. So the mask has been reset. Now I'm going to subtract with a brush, because there's only one section of this that I want. Everything else I want to is fine. I'm just going to erase all of this. So let's erase. So there's one section of this that I want to get, and I want to work with. So instead of doing a whole new object selection, I'm just going to erase it like this, bring the feathering down. Just going to erase like that, erase like this. Put in the overlay. Let's see how that looks. Cool. All right. What I want to do is darken those areas. There's these little spots here that are cutting through in the wrong way. I want to do that, and I want to push them a little more toward, actually probably toward blue. No, it's not quite. I want to go toward purple. There we go. That works. Push them away from green. Get them a little more. Be kind of the color of the rocks down there. I can erase this one. This one's not doing me any favors. So there we go. That section right there. And if I turn this on and off, it's just a subtle thing, but it changes those little spots in there and makes them a little more. Makes them a little more. Makes us notice the branches and not the space in between them, which I think is good. ShelbyLynn, how are you doing?
We have a poem.
We have a poem. We have a picture of a poem. Look at us go.
Yeah.
One down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give this poem its 3 stars, which is
the poem.
This picture. I'm probably giving the poem 5 stars. Let's be totally honest. It's probably a pretty good poem. All right, do you want me to scroll with you as you read, or do you want to read it?
We can do that.
All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's see. How are we doing on stream? Can people hear us? All right, ShelbyLynn, take it away.
The rush, the flood, the flow. It's overwhelming. Can I make it hush? Will it slow my blood? It's insurmountable. Anxiety. It overwhelms me and it makes it hard to see what's right before me. How can I be? How can I breathe? What's wrong with me? Flooded. It's like a tsunami. Crashing into me. Breathe. Just be. I try. Focusing only on what's before me. What can I see? Breathe. Just be. Let the anxiety ease. Breathe. Focus small, like a tiny drop. Drip, drip, dripping from a leaf. Just to be. Stop and focus. Let the anxiety ease. The tsunami fades. The pressure goes away. We are okay, if only for today.
Yep, nope, 5 stars. 100. Love that one. That's beautiful.
It feels like an anxiety attack.
It does, but it feels like it's a hopeful, we're getting past the anxiety attack, which is wonderful. So, yeah, good job. Cheers.
That's what I saw in the poem, in the photo.
Amazing. I love that. That's another reason, like, you know, I talk about, like, doing these streams because I want to share my process and share ShelbyLynn's process and like, you know, help, you know, you as an artist if there's any, you know, expose multiple creative processes, because, like, either this might be a cool, inspiring thing, or it might be educational, or you might be like, now I know what not to do. Like, but, like, you know, and that's all true, but, like, selfishly, I also, like, I love getting to, like, hear your poems. Mm-hmm. Like, I get to learn from how you see my photos, which is amazing, because, you know, when I take them, it's me and the camera. It's
a very different perspective.
It is, and it's wonderful.
And then I really love the process of putting words to poems. It was actually one of the first writing exercises that I ever did. Oh, I had a teacher, a creative writing teacher in 9th grade, mm-hmm. who would post a photo on the projector.
Yep.
And she would just tell us, okay, you have 3 minutes to write about this. You have 5 minutes to write about this, however long she decided on that day. Mm-hmm. And that was my first ever creative writing class. Miss Iberg. I would love for her to join this stream.
Oh, that'd be cool, yeah.
I messaged her. But she's the one who kind of got me started on the whole photo poetry thing. And, like, when I can't just see something right off the bat, I like to break it down into sections and what can I see in it? What can I take away from that photo? So it's a very different perspective on certain photos.
I love that. That's cool. I'm glad that we get to do this together then.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick another photo. You know what? The one that's calling me right now is this one. Which I'm on the fence about how I want to orient. But this is the photo we're going to work on now. You good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, here we go. Photo 2. This one is from... it's from upstate New York. I don't know, like upstate, like depending on where you're, like where you're from, you think of different things as upstate New York. It's Westchester, so it's north of New York City, which... If you ask someone in Troy if it's upstate New York, it's outside. It's the city. If you ask someone in Brooklyn if it's upstate New York, they're gonna. Of course it is. It's not the city, so it's the other part of New York. I'm on the fence about what I want this to. If I want this to be that way, or I like this vertical. Yeah, Shelby, I'm just gonna
lay down and see if it works. Just
gonna make us all dizzy. No, I like this. I think I like the verticality of it. I like seeing it. This is a perspective that I wouldn't normally see it from. That's what we're gonna work on. And this is cool because up at the top here, like you can go across this bridge and check it out, check the area out, and it's a gorgeous. Like this is a little bit past peak season in fall. This is from a couple of years ago. I think this is 2021. But the up at the top, you can you get a gorgeous view of the valley and of the waterways and kind of the trees and the hills. We're up near Harriman State Park. We're kind of I don't think we're actually in it, but we're right alongside it. And the cool thing is, like, this kind of stepped. I'm gonna zoom in here, not that much. Zooming up this much. This sort of stepped fountainy thing is up at the top. There is a big reservoir there. And that's the outflow from the reservoir. And here, over to the side, running along parallel to the reservoir is a stream that either feeds it or just runs connected to it, or maybe they share. I think they probably share a source. So here you have man-made waterfall and natural waterfall sort of right next to each other, which again, relationships, and I really like that. So yeah, gonna go ahead and start working on this one. ShelbyLynn, you good?
Yeah.
All right.
So one of the things, this is one of the photos that I feel you can really look at in terms of picking what draws your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because on this one, I feel like a lot of people, their attention will be more so drawn to the natural waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
My attention, though, is very much so drawn to the man-made waterfall.
Cool.
Because it's two different systems going on here. It's the natural and our world, the human world,
Mm-hmm.
kind of colliding. But the thing that I immediately think of when I see that man-made waterfall is a world stacked against you.
I like that.
Because all of us are always trying to climb a ladder, right? Trying to get where we want to go, to get upwards out of whatever area we were from, what we were born to, or what have you. And so it's literally a stair-step waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
And the water is rushing, in this case, using this metaphor, the water is pushing against you as you try to climb.
Yeah. I love it.
So that's probably what this poem is going to be about.
Right. There we go. Let's get into it. Let's see. What do I want to do with this? Another reason I like choosing this photo is because I don't have a clear thought of what I want to do. So that makes it fun. I know I don't love the yellow and the reds in this one. So this one's going to be... Yeah, I think black and white's the way to go with this one. I think I look at it in black and white and I like it better. So we're gonna go black and white. Let's see if I can get a sky selection to work, and I'll have some more tea while we're waiting. Hey, look at that! It actually worked really well. Cool. So now with the sky, I can pull the the highlights down. Pull the shadows down a bit, but I think I'm gonna save that. If I pull the blacks down, we're gonna get better. Yeah. So something about the way the sky looks in this, it looks like it's, I don't know, like on this side of the bridge, it looks like it's kind of, one plane, and then on like the underside of the bridge, it looks like it's a different one. Like it's almost like the sky is folded and the bridge is right along on the line, and that's a cool thing. It's another reason I like shooting it from this angle. It's one of the things I've always thought was cool, and I got this from a friend of mine that I did a stream with, but all right, text from numbers I don't recognize. Or a friend of mine that I that I was doing live streaming with, or watching them do a live stream, and they made a comment about how with a color photograph you look at it, with black and white you look into it, and I don't know how 100% true that is. I think that does a slight disservice to color photography, but I do really like black and white. You notice the composition a lot more, and I like that a lot. So let's do a duplicate and invert. Everybody take a shot. Me included. One of these days, I'm gonna put like THC infused honey in that tea, and just you guys are just gonna watch me stream and get more and more increasingly insane as we go. We'll see how that shapes up. Would you believe you would believe how many times I've fought off the inclination to stream while I'm a little stoned?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. It baffles me that how much of a not better but faster photo editor I am when I stream, and I'm sure, or when I'm a little stoned. When I stream, I take forever, and I'm sure if you're watching my streams and you're like, oh, you get fast when you're stoned, maybe you get to a reasonable speed instead of taking forever. And I'm sure the professional photographers I know are watching if they're watching my streams. If you are, thank you. I feel honored to be in your presence. This is the 14 mil Rokinon. Let's do that. There we go. How much of a change is that? I like it better this way. That's the thing. I never like those profile corrections. I like that. But yeah, no. When I'm a little stoned, I stream a lot, or I edit a lot quicker. And so part of me wonders at some point if I do that, is it just gonna be the one time I do like a 30-minute stream and actually edit more than one photo. Also, we're 34 minutes into this. All right, let's see. What needs to be bright? What needs to be dark? Oh man, Aqua, one day you're gonna get your chance, Bran. Okay. I think turning orange down is a good idea. I think that gives me some nice contrast over where I'm looking. Reds, what are reds up to? Next to nothing. We're going to leave... Yeah, we're going to leave reds kind of alone. Yellows are a little more doing some stuff. We'll bring the yellows up a bit. Greens. Same kind of thing, though greens going to be some nice contrast on the bridge. So let's bring the greens up. Let's do that. Okay. That is a start, for sure. Let's keep working on it. This might be one of those photos where I keep editing it, and then eventually I'm like, you know what? This was fine. Let's brighten that up, because that's going to help soften that edge. And then, yeah, let's go with that. Okay. Moving back up here to my kind of usual controls. A little more clarity, I think, is a good thing. Yeah, a little more sharpness. Dehazing, I'm actually going to take the haze down just a bit. Yeah, I think that helps. Keeps that way. And this is an interesting thing that I love about photo editing is that because, you know, with all this editing, either all I'm really doing is, in different ways brightening and darkening. Like, and especially in the case of a black and white photo. That's basically all that I'm doing at the very basic level. But because, darkening the shadows versus darkening the blacks versus like upping the clarity, which darkens and brightens certain things, versus the texture versus dehaze versus going with the actual color sliders, like by dehaze usually turn it up and it's going to darken everything, but or at least it's going to bring up the contrast, so it's going to darken the darks. By bringing up the brightness of the greens first, and kind of darkening the like these dark, by doing that, now I can darken by taking the dehaze down. What I'm doing is kind of like I'm allowing it to, I'm now brightening and darkening in ways that change up, that are different than if I just done one or the other. And it's the cool thing about this photo editing is though it's kind of the way all these things work in concert with each other. I feel like that made a lot more sense in my head. But let's see, what else do I want to do with this photo? I'll do some stuff with the water here. So okay, the stylus is not doing me a whole lot of favors right now. We're gonna stick with this. Stick with the mouse and stick with my controller down here. All right, let's do. So this one I've done nothing to so far. So let's just subtract with a brush, and I'm going to subtract everything that's not the water, and I can be a little bit rough with this. And mostly when I say the water, I mean the water down here at the bottom. Get rid of a lot of the stone. Though, let's undo that a little bit. Let's be a little more specific with it. Subtract with a brush. And I keep forgetting to do a single brush stroke first so that I create the brush mask, and then I can undo everything without getting rid of it. All right, let's do this. Let's be very specific. How's the poem coming over there?
I think I might have created an unintentional theme.
All right, wait. That sounds great. And then I remember the last one was about anxiety attacks. I'm like, is that the theme we're landing on?
We're ending on almost the same line.
Interesting. All right, hey.
Yeah.
Not against that. There's something pretty.
It's been a year. It's been a year. There's some stuff coming out in this.
That's valid. Feathering back up because I want it to be a little softer. There we go.
But this poem is done. So while Eric keeps editing.
All right, now it's your turn to talk, so I can focus on masking. I'm pretty close to finishing this one up.
One of the things that I find really important in writing poetry is just letting the poem flow. And so sometimes that means that it's going to rhyme. Like the last one had a lot of rhyming in it. A lot of be, see, me. That rhyme scheme right there, that was 90% of that poem. But this one doesn't rhyme as much. And there's a certain beauty in free verse poems where they just don't rhyme and they go at their own cadence and all of that, because they can tell a very, very different story than a poem that has a set number of syllables or stanzas or rhyming words and all that. So this one doesn't rhyme, and I just find it so important when writing poetry to just let the poem come to you as it will and not follow the pressure of, oh, it has to rhyme, it has to rhyme, it has to rhyme, or trying to fit your poem into a certain mold or format. So, like, yes, we could all write sonnets. A sonnet is nothing new. Sonnets have been around for a while. So I like to just embrace the creative freedom in poetry and let it be what it wants to be.
It's a bold statement to say we could all write sonnets. I'm not sure I could.
I've written a lot of sonnets in my time. I've even sent you sonnets based on photos.
You have, yeah. Yeah, no, my poetic education starts and stops at limericks.
I never did write that limerick about that one guy in that one photo.
You really need to. So I can remember what you're talking about. Which guy was this?
This was, I believe, during the Alaska photo shoot where there was the guy that looked like he was falling off a boat.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had said that I was going to write a limerick about him someday.
I think that's what he deserves.
I feel like he does deserve a limerick. Very, very much so.
For sure. Though, who among us does not deserve a limerick?
This is a fair statement.
Yeah, no, it's... Okay, let's take a look at that. I think that's looking pretty sharp right now. I feel like there's a little bit of... And now I'm going to do one more thing where I'm going to do this. I'm going to duplicate and invert. Take a shot.
It's very funny because I can't see what Eric is doing. I just see what the photo currently looks like. And so I'm like, duplicate and invert. Where? I know my vision isn't great, but...
Now I'm going to, what I want to do now is I want to get everything else except for the sky. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to subtract the sky. Yeah, she can't see the masking. She can just see the final photo as I adjust. So now I've got everything but.
Are you still using the purple mask?
I am still using the purple mask, yes.
Yes.
Now I can dehaze a little more. Let's see.
Oh, that was a big shift.
It is, right? Clarity. That's one of the reasons. Like whenever I'm
Ooh,
editing,
whenever
I'm working on a photo, I usually start by playing with clarity and dehaze, and so on, because I think it makes a substantial difference. Like they make the most difference. So to me, it makes sense to start there. Let's keep the texture there on the water, but I think I want to change. Is that all that I did? Is I took the dehaze down. Yeah, I like keeping some of the darkness there.
It's also very interesting because as we do this, I'm not really looking at the photo as it changes. Mm-hmm. So my poem is primarily written off of what it started out looking like, which means that by the time we get to the end product, it could completely diverge.
Which is fun.
There's a whole other poem that could be written about the photo as it is now versus as it was before.
Ooh, that's an exciting thought.
Because this gives me very much so like Mount Olympus vibes up by the trees and the bridge.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is not what we wrote about at all.
I'm throwing you off. Let's see. So a new
it's
mask.
part of the fun.
It is definitely part of the fun. All right, I'm going to do one more thing because I want this bridge. Let's just get that bridge there. So I can do an object selection. And we'll go from there. See how well it does with this. I feel like this is probably going to work better than actually the object selection one was fine last time. See how well this works. So our goal tonight is to get through 5 photos, yes?
I believe so.
All right, we'll see how well we do. Might take this entire time to get this object selection to work. Okay, heart rate's coming down. I'm a little bit less nervous now that we're into this. Pretty much perfect. I can work with that. Because what I want to do is turn the contrast up on that one. I can do all with the highlights, but I can bring the shadows down a bit. There we go. You know what? Actually, something like that. What have I got here? Add brush. Let me turn my density down just a bit so that I'm not doing it with the same intensity. I'm going to brush in this area here. See the overlay? Cool.
I wrote a second poem.
Can always count on you. By the way, Lightroom shortcut for anyone editing in Lightroom. If you want to see the overlay of your mask, just hit O on the keyboard, and it will pop up in a good way. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I say this every time, and then I keep adjusting. Yeah, bring the sky down a little bit like that.
I really like the sky like that.
I
That's
do too.
really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to do one more thing. Nope, that's What did I just do? No, I don't want a linear gradient. I want a brush. New mask with a brush. This little area, let's turn the density back up. This little area over here is not doing a whole lot for me. So let's go ahead and just sort of darken that down a bit. Make it a little bit less of the photo. So that we're not.
Oh, that area.
Yes. No, you
I
can't
was
see.
trying to guess what part we were talking about. It wasn't working very well.
Just a little bit to darken that up. So that there's
Is that a whole cliff there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Just a little bit of that. Come on, I gotta find the exact right setting for this.
Another thing on poetry that I find very useful is I don't name my poems. Sometimes ever. I don't write them with a specific name in mind. I also don't try to name them as I'm writing or even immediately after. What I like to do is I like to write the poem and then just let it sit and marinate a little bit. And then in 2 or 3 days, or maybe 2 or 3 months, depending on the poem, I'll go back to it and name it then.
That's when you find the time.
Or have someone else name it if I'm really struggling.
Makes sense. That's how I write screenplays a lot of the times. I don't think of a title until I'm done with the script.
It's the better way to write, in my opinion.
I think so, because it lets you discover what the thing is without having it, without putting any brackets on it to start. There's your before and after, which you can see. ShelbyLynn can't. She has no idea what's going on. But what she does have is a cool poem. Actually, 2 poems. So I will go ahead and scroll as she reads. Go ahead and take it away.
This is the first one. It's the longer one. Sometimes, in a world as harsh, as cruel, and as absurd as the one in which we live, it feels like everything and everyone is working against you, pushing you back and hoping you'll fail. It's an upward climb, day in and day out, an ultimate lifetime battle. And yet, sometimes, it's okay to step away, to take a moment, to just be. In the chaos, sometimes our path isn't the ever upward climb, but a path of our own, a journey we take in our own way, and that's okay. Just step away from the crush and the crunch of the system that was made to break. You find your way through peace, life, and love. It will be okay.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely, that's the end of that one, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I saw the line. I assumed that was what it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like you said, ended on a similar sentiment.
It is.
I like it.
It's kind of the mood we're in.
It is. Well, let's see what the second one is.
A world on its axis. What is heaven? What is hell? When above and below are anything but. Can it be made right within our time? Or are we just destined to life on its side?
All right. I like that.
A very, very, very different vibe.
It really is, which is, again, like creative process. We see different things in everything we work on.
The second one feels almost like a little bit silly.
It does.
And it's kind of great.
I was gonna say I feel a little called out that you're getting at me for turning my photos sideways. Finally, someone tells me to stop it and does it beautifully.
I'm not telling you to stop. I love it.
You're not gonna make me stop, but I appreciate.
I wouldn't make you stop even if I could.
Well, in the theme of not stopping, shall we do more?
Yeah.
Let's do one more. Let's see. This thought of we're only gonna do 5 is really getting to me.
Last time we were only going to do like 5 too.
Yeah,
we did 8.
We did 10.
We did 10?
There was one photo that we did 3 different ways where it's like slight adjustments to the crop, but like, yeah. All right. Photo number 3.
Oh. This one, okay, so I haven't been to the beach in a very long time, and the beach is my happy place. And that's part of why we chose water a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit. And that's why there's so many beach photos in here. And this photo has been like stuck in my brain since we picked it. It's great. I love it. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's stuck.
It's stuck. It's definitely stuck. And I remember there was a thing you wanted done with this photo.
Yes.
Don't say what it is, because I am going to do it. I'm going to do it last. It's going to be the last thing I do.
So there are going to be multiple versions of this photo is what you're telling me.
No. There's going to be one version, but it's just going to be like, I'm going to make that one change last.
Okay.
So I'll edit everything else, and then we'll see where it goes at the very end.
Yeah, I saw this photo when we were doing it. picking out the photos. And one of the first things that I had told Eric was like, I want you to do this thing with this photo. And he was like, huh,
Yeah.
that might work.
And then we tried it, and it did. So here we go.
And if we're turning it, that means I have to, what do I want to do with this photo? So this is where the exercise of thinking about what calls out to you in the photo really, really helps, is because there's so many things in this photo that call out to me and so many ideas that flip my head when I'm looking at this photo. Like, we can talk about the ocean, we can talk about the waves, we can talk about the vast openness of the sea, we can talk about the power of the ocean, we can talk about what it would be like to stand on that dock. There's too many things. Mm-hmm. So the thing that really, really helps in situations like that for me is to find the thing that most calls out to me and then follow that path. Whatever that path, that trajectory puts me on, I follow that. So the big thing that calls out to me in this photo is the docks and the chaotic waves.
Yep.
So those are the two really big things, and oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah, that's something good. I want to talk a bit about contrast versus dehaze for a second, but that's definitely what I'm going to do. So you know what
so pretty.
And so you talk about that. That's the thing that draws you, is the dock and the waves, and that's certainly what I, like, definitely the subject of the photo is the relationship there. But also one of the things I love about this photo is just the chaos of the waves, and the dock itself. Like, I'm fairly certain this dock has been here. This is a beach in North Carolina. For those of you who've been following my streams and my stories, yeah, this was taken on the day my last camera got destroyed by the ocean.
And my gasp was not about realizing that. My gasp was about the thing that hit me for this poem. Getting free.
Oh yeah, love it. But yeah, so for me, this photo was I love this dock. This dock has been a thing I've always, I grew up down at this beach, and so I've always been looking down the ocean and down the shore and seeing this dock, or pier, but also, like, in this case, the chaos of the waves. This day was insanely windy and just insanely rough, and yet the normalcy of the houses behind it and the people hanging out over there, and you can even see the yellow flags that are up. And these waves were absolutely crazy, but yellow flags just mean it's a little rough. Be aware. Doesn't mean get out. And so that's one of the things I really liked about this photo, was that it really has the chaos in the foreground and the normalcy in the background, which I think is really cool. The other thing, and let me follow up my point about everything is just brightening and darkening. Contrast and dehaze. Kind of first thing and second thing and last thing. Excuse me, not counting exposure, which just does stuff like this, which that's kind of cool too, but that's not what we're going to do. That's not what this photo is about right now to me. It might be about this in the next time I edit it. But if I turn the contrast up, it brightens the brights and darkens the darks. You can see that. Like, it makes everything a little bit starker. If I turn the dehaze up, it darkens the darks, but it also saturates. It darkens a lot and also saturates things, and creates more contrast. Like, this photo looks much more contrasty than turning up the contrast does. And that's kind of talking about, each of these sliders brightens and darkens in its own unique way, and it's about finding the symphony of those that works. And in this case,
you said way at the same time I wrote way,
yes.
And I want you to know that.
Yes. Officially synced
in
up.
sync.
The stream is up and running, and you had to say in sync, so I'm gonna have bye stuck in my head the rest of the night. I'll let you know that is your fault.
You're welcome.
That's not what I wanted you to say.
Bye.
It's also not what I wanted you to say, but I can't be mad at that. All right, let's see. Okay. This is gonna be fun because I'm trying to find some contrast in while still having some softness here, and that's where dehaze is gonna come in a little bit. Dehaze just feels like it's muddy. Let's come down and play with color a bit. All right, blues, obviously a lot of blues in here. I think the dock being my darkest point of the photo, I'm gonna brighten up other stuff. That's fine. Where's my dock? Sand. That one for now. Yeah, bringing the yellows down I think is a good idea. Reds. not really in play, very little bit. I can stay where they are. Purples. I was just brightening up that one, there's a couple spots like there and there. I think it's the roof of something. And then we're going to do magentas. Nah, they're going to stay where they were. Aquas. Still, aquas aren't getting their day. Never gonna, one day. And then greens. A little bit of green in the water, which I think I'm going to bring up because I think, let's see, let's go to color. I'm going to bring up the aquas. I'm going to bring up the greens because I like having the color there. Though that does brighten up the dock, which maybe I don't want to do. Let's put the aquas back. Yeah, that actually works. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to brighten this up the way I want to brighten it up, and then I will adjust the dock as a separate mask. So main color is obviously blue. Which... Very on the fence about this one. Yeah, bye is now in my head.
I love you.
Again, I don't have any soft things to throw at you, but I want to. I need to keep a collection of like pillows on hand for every future stream so I can just pelt you with them when you do this to me. A little bit of color in here I think is a good thing. Let's come up here to my... That's oversaturated. Nah, neither of those are doing me any favors. Okay. Let's start with this. I want to adjust a little more. But let's do some masking. We'll start by getting the sky, which is just going to be real simple. Sky should be fairly easy. All I want to do is just kind of take the texture out, smooth up the noise. Because it is kind of noisy in there. I want to get rid of that. So we're going to bring the texture down, denoise up. Nice and easy. And in this case, yeah, it's a clear day, so there's not going to be any clouds. There's no point in adding anything to it. I'm going to push it a little bit bluer, just so I get a nice... let's push it a little more purple, and then a little blue. A little less there. A little bit less here. Yeah, that looks good. I like having the dividing line here being the pier leading straight out to the houses and stuff. So we're gonna stick with that. New mask here. Let's see. We're gonna do an object selection. See if I can get the pier. Let's see if I can get that. Should be able to. It's not too complicated. But then again, when I say that, then I'm in trouble. So I'm gonna try saying it and see what happens. ShelbyLynn, either you or I have to talk, because otherwise I'm just going to sit here just every little thing I do. Like, my brain is like, oh, silence, we know what to fill that with. Cranks volume. The mid to late 90s.
I am sorry now, for real.
You aren't.
You don't deserve this.
I don't. This is true. All right, let's see if I can clear out some of these areas here. Let's see if I can get rid of... So I can subtract this stuff. Because I could do that with a brush by hand. But I'd rather not if I can avoid it. That wasn't bad. I figured that was going to be a much louder net crack on stream. Wait for it. Oh, good. Now that'll be stuck in my head.
Which would you prefer?
Oh, who even knows at this point? I'll spin the dial in my head and get something else stuck in my head at some point. Prefers this thing to work. Hey, look at that. That worked well. Okay, we're gonna keep doing that. So ShelbyLynn, if you want to talk, all I'm doing right now is just removing some of these masks. So it's a lot of little click and drag and then sit and wait. So
I think I'm about to do something very interesting with this poem. Because I wrote a first part that I'm really happy with. And then there's a second part that is connected, but not connected enough for it to just be like a second stanza. And so I think we're doing a prologue to this poem.
Oh, that's cool.
This is not something I've done before. I have done poems under the same sentiment that, like, there's a poem form called a tanka, and it is very similar to a haiku. I don't remember the syllables off the top of my head right now, so don't ask me. But I've done it where I've done 3 tankas in a row to create one overarching poem. Each can be read as its own poem, though. But this feels almost more like a prologue to a poem. A poem prologue to a poem proper.
There we go.
We'll see.
We're all about alliteration here.
We love alliteration in poetry.
This channel, big alliteration supporters.
It's just a very interesting thing, and I have gone back and forth on if I should break this into 2, 3 times now. So
all right,
that's where we're at.
Okay. All right, I'm using a brush. I don't want to be using a brush. I'll be subtracting objects. There we go. This has turned into the just Eric slowly erases stuff photo. So yeah, we're gonna sit and wait for a bit while I do this and just kind of slowly clear out these spots so I can just have the peer selected.
Another thing that I do when I'm writing is I write as it naturally feels. And if you were following along as I read earlier, you might have noticed that I read something wrong, but it sounded better than what was on the page. It's really important to me to read a poem out loud, because sometimes the things that come out of your mouth when you're trying to read it are going to be better than what's actually on the page.
That's true.
That happens to me a lot. But as I'm writing, I break it up as it feels natural, but you might notice that I don't exactly have stanzas on here. And some of these lines are like 10 times longer than the line before and after it. So I just write it how it feels natural in the moment, and then whenever I go back through, around the time that I'm naming the poem, I will break it into lines a little bit better. I'll do the edits that I need to do. I'll break it into stanzas and all that kind of thing. And sometimes in the editing process of doing a poem will drastically change.
For sure.
There have been a couple of times where I was writing a poem and I went back to the editing process. This actually happened one night when Eric and I were on the phone. And I noticed that of the like 7 or 8 stanzas, about 5 of them all had the same number of syllables in each line.
I remember this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, I cannot leave the other stanzas wrong, because now it just feels wrong.
Yeah, now you got a theme.
Yeah, now we have a pattern, we have a theme, we need to fix it so that everything fits that theme. And so I ended up kind of overhauling half of that poem to make it fit the rest. And the last stanza still broke it, because in my personal opinion when it comes to poetry, if you're going to break your pattern, your theme, all of that, the best place to do it is the last line. Yep. Because that last line will feel like a punch 10 times more if that's where you break it.
Yeah, it's true. I think that's an important part of a lot of art, is that, you know, when someone engages with your art, you're establishing a set of rules of like, here's how this is going to work, and then you find your moments to break those rules that you've set up. And it's not about following like established rules of the form or, you know, established rules of anything else. It's just you decide, you know, when you want to, you know, you set up the rules you want to follow, and then you break them when you're ready. All right, this is very slowly coming along. How's your poem going? If you say you're done,
I am not done.
Racing there. This is the tedious process of photo editing. I've done this on stream before, where it's like, yeah, the point of this stream series of AfterCut is like, it's you know, as I said it's about post processing and processing post, and about pulling the curtain back behind like away from the kind of, you know, sort of like mysterious world of post production, which often just doesn't get talked about or showcased, and which is weird for something that's as important as it is. And in film, that's because of various union rules, which unions are good and important, and I'm not mad about this. I'm just explaining why. But in photography, it's often behind a paywall, or like a lot of times when I will see, the few times I have seen photographers show how they edit, like, in a video on YouTube or on something, it's usually because they've got a preset pack they're trying to sell you. Not all the time. I don't want to paint all online photographers with the same brush. But I've had that happen. Like, and yeah, well, to be fair, it's worked. I've bought a preset pack that I really don't use. But yeah, there's usually a desire to sell something. And in this case, I don't want to do that. I want to show just my behind the scenes process to kind of share how this works for me. And yes, because editing is so important to photography, and especially to digital photography nowadays, and you don't talk about it. How you doing?
This turned into a love poem.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't see that plot was coming.
I love when our work surprises us. But yeah, one of the main reasons behind doing stuff like this is that look at that, that's excellent. Is that it does allow us to be surprised, and it does allow us to find new things, but it also means that a lot of times we're sitting here through the very somewhat tedious process of adjusting a photo or writing something, or I've done a couple of streams where I'm editing film and I'm just working on a single scene or a single shot over and over and over and over again, and it's just like that's a lot of why editing is as important as it is, and why it takes the fine tuning that it does. And if you're wondering, like if you are an editor, or if you know editors who work on bigger projects, especially in film, you'll know that there's a reason editors get substantial salaries, and it's because they're doing a lot of stuff like this, doing a lot of that very, very tedious work. And I know this one photo is making the stream just skip like crazy. This is just the all lag show now. It's also exciting because I can glance over and see. I can't see what ShelbyLynn's working on. I can just see that I see her writing, and then I don't see any change on the other screen. I'm like, this is fun. There's a whole secret poem happening somewhere in the nebulous underneath of her screen. And this whole time I've been talking, and I've been like masking this stuff out and working on it. ShelbyLynn has just been seeing the same photo up on the screen. I think I'm almost done with this. I think almost the rest I can do with a brush. Oh, there we go. Good. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, I can clean the rest up with a brush, so let's do that. Let's go back to my subtract brush, which is down here somewhere. And we're going to just erase some of these spots. I'm going to turn my feathering down a bit so I can... Yeah, because this one's got some pretty clean edges, which is fine. And we're going to come over here and clean this one up. Just like that. Taking its time on this one. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, gotta work on that spot. That looks fine. I want to clean that up. Yeah, okay. Let's work in here. Gonna zoom in to 200%. ShelbyLynn can't even see when I zoom in, which makes it even funnier. This is the wrong night to put my computer through its paces. Would also be you watching at home be excited to know that I have switched from bye 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 to it's gonna be me, which somehow feels worse. And also my brain switched without me even noticing, which says a lot about what NSYNC songs sound like. Just go seamlessly from one to the other without noticing. this.
Okay, we have 2 poems.
We have 2 poems. This is how we ended up doing a whole bunch of other things last time. Is we had multiple poems on each photo. Let's clean that up. I think I'm in pretty good shape with this. I still got a little more masking to do. But while I finish this up, is there anything you want to say about these poems or about your poetry apart from what you said before?
I don't know. These poems just made me really happy. Like, we've been following the theme of it's going to be okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been my mantra for a year. And, like, the shift in tone in these poems works beautifully because the prologue poem,
mm-hmm.
it still kind of follows that theme, but then it shifts into being more than just okay.
That's good. Oh, we got an ongoing progression, like a theme going on tonight.
Yes, we do, and I love it.
Excellent.
I love when this happens. This is the kind of thing that you only want these poems to be seen all together
mm-hmm.
in the correct order.
Yep. Which, be sure to check out our websites and our Instagrams because that's where they're going to get posted. Ooh. Give us a second. I think my
Probably not all at once.
No, it's going to take a little while. My mouse and controller just reconnecting as we just clean up these last couple.
There really are so many poems that you could write about this photo. And if you are poetically interested, I recommend you try because your poem would be so different than mine.
Yeah, that's the thing that we haven't said is that if you are a poet or a writer and any of these photos
call to you.
Yeah, call to you or inspire you to write something, by all means, please do it.
And let us know.
Yes, let us know. Share your work with us. We'd love to see it.
This is one of those poems that there's just so many different layers to it.
One last thing. That's just this one. But over here, once this thing kind of snaps back into focus.
Like I had kind of mentioned that the things that drew me were the dock and the waves, the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said before, you could write a poem about what it feels like to stand at the edge of that dock.
For sure.
You could write a poem about what it's like to be any of those people off in the distance. You could write a poem about the flow of the waves, the calm on the edge of the beach. There's so many things with this poem, and it's so beautiful with this photo. Poem, photo, they're 2 close words right now.
They really are. Yeah, we've had that problem in the past.
We have. But there's so many things that you can find in this photo that are just so beautiful and so, even just looking at those 1 or 2 little things in isolation, you could create something really, really beautiful off of it. And that's the reason that this photo has been stuck in my head is simply because of that fact. There's so many things that you can pick to write about in this photo. So it's hard to pick just one. I could probably do a whole 10 poems on this photo.
Duplicate and invert, take a shot.
I am out of tea.
Yeah, I'm about to be. Can't duplicate and invert too many more times, guys.
That tea is very, very good, though.
It is. It's a chai tea with chai honey. Something very cool about that. Okay. Let's do this. Let's keep the texture up.
It's also very interesting. Another thing, if you're looking for things to write about in this photo, if you look at the way the sky is compared to the ocean,
mm-hmm.
that is a massive contrast because that sky is so still, it's so quiet, it's so simple. And then you have the ocean, and that ocean has a whole storm raging.
Yep.
There's definitely something to that as well. I'm going to have to come back and rewatch this stream to look at all my ideas and possibly come back to this photo.
I am almost done.
Yay.
Just playing with clarity here. Let's denoise that because that photo is a little bit... There we go. Because I want that softness in there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted this photo to look like. That sky still looks a little noisy to me.
I don't see any noise. I'm also very far back, though.
Yeah, no, I see it. And I'm going to go back to my sky mask here. And I've already brought the texture down. I'm going to bring the sharpness down. Maybe the clarity. That might brighten it up too much. That brightens it up too much. Stick with the colors I've got. Okay, cool. Okay, ready to do the thing we talked about?
Yes.
All right, and so, yeah, the photo is going to look, allegedly, see if it cooperates, like that. Turning it sideways.
It really does look like a ladder climbing towards the sky.
Gonna crop it down a little more.
Or not towards the sky. That's the wrong direction. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Looks like the dock looks like a ladder.
Yep.
It's great.
Let's see. Let's see if I can adjust this. I think I want this to be 11 by 17, which is a fun aspect ratio, and we're gonna bring it down here so we get a little more. And usually, if you watch the streams, you know I don't love using the grid, but in this case, because I really want to make sure that dock is centered, this is the way to do it. What do you think, ShelbyLynn?
I love it.
All right. So there's this photo, which getting its 3 stars, and let's go ahead and let's hear your poems. I'm gonna let me scroll down a sec.
This is the prologue part.
All right. Give it. Go.
Some say that freedom is living life your way, but they never say how to get your freedom, and they may try to tell you the right way. I'm here to say there's no such thing as a right way, and that's okay. They can spend all day trying to get you to go their way, and you do not have to. So on that one, we really broke the rhyme scheme on that last line, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because the body of the poem, what did I call it? The proper poem.
Yes, the poem proper.
My way to freedom has been a dark and twisty road. I've taken all the paths less taken and traveled off-road, more times than I can count. My route has had mountains and valleys with many storms. I've lost more than I can say, and yet I'm okay. I found my freedom in a place of love after the deepest hurt. I'd felt like my heart was ripped from my chest, and yet I had people to help me put it back in, one stitch at a time. My people helped to glue me back together again after the world tried to break me. And now, instead of holding, stitching, and gluing, they stand behind me, and I am free.
You make me cry.
Do you not want me to read the next one
No,
then? Because the next one is about you.
Ugh, tell me this after the fact. Don't tell me now. All right, go.
It's a good poem.
Everything you write is good. All right, go through it. Do it.
You were my anchor.
Oh, fuck.
In the raging storm, on the darkest night, in the roughest sea. Through you I felt safe, found clarity, and remembered to believe in me. You were my anchor. Now, you are my sail.
Yeah, Stephanie's right. We're about to start crying. Damn it. Okay. What an excellent moment to go to a break. I need to make one change to this photo. Because I need to adjust the... I'm not sure what this thing wants. I want to adjust the brightness of the background. Come on.
I didn't mean to make us all emotional.
I mean, you did. You're making art, and that's correct. That's how it should be. There we go. That's better. All right, cool. All right. So, with that having been said, we are going to take it's 9:19. We're going to take about a 5-minute break just to reset a little bit, and then we're going to come back and do our last 2 poems of the night. So,
yay!
Yes. So we will see you in 5. And, yeah, we'll come back and do a couple more. So, see you in a bit. and sound, and we're back. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, here's what you missed. We chatted a little bit and planned out kind of what our plan for the rest of the 2 or maybe 3 photos for the rest of the night. And I have in my head sung "Bye Bye Bye" twice. So those are the updates.
We also both tried to pop things that refused to pop.
Yeah, no, we got some stubborn joints tonight.
Yeah.
We also have chosen our next photo, and it's this one. This is the grist mill from Babcock State Park in West Virginia.
Oh my God, we're gonna follow the same progression. So we have gone from it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to be in that spot, in that rough area of life. It's okay to try to break free from that.
Mm-hmm.
To it's okay to take your own path.
Yep.
To sometimes love helps you find your way to freedom.
Yep.
To you being my anchor. We're gonna follow this train.
All right.
This train is gonna keep on chugging.
All right, so this is the photo we're gonna work on. This one, I don't really want to change the composition on it. I'm really, really happy with how this looks. This one's also cool because, this particular spot is one of the more photographed spots in West Virginia, from what I've been told. This is the Instagrammable place, but one of the things I like, I like about going to a spot that everyone takes pictures of is try to find new ways to do it. So in this case, this is a long exposure. That's zoomed in way too much. Let's go back to this. How long is this exposure? This is 1/5 of a second. So not a super long exposure, but long enough that we get some of this cool like flow in the water. The other thing I did when I took this photo is I set it on a timer, and then as soon as the thing went off, I had a handful of leaves held kind of right above the camera, just in front of the lens, and dropped them. So we end up with this cool sort of little red haze here, so the out of focus leaves sort of fell. There's a little bit down at the bottom here too for another leaf. So it just adds a little bit of atmosphere, and so that's what I'm going to try to preserve as I work on this photo.
And also, as we were looking through these photos, specifically of this location, we very intentionally tried to choose ones that weren't the Instagram standard photo.
Yes.
Just because, it's been done.
It has.
A lot. And we wanted something different and something unique and something, us.
Exactly. So, that's what we're going to work on. Okay, let's do a little masking. I don't want to do a whole bunch with color here. I think maybe a little bit, but I'm really happy with the colors of this photo. There's not a whole lot of red. Let's turn the reds up. Let's keep the reds up on this one. I'm also gonna scroll down a bit on ShelbyLynn's poem so you can see sort of what she's working on. Come back into here, switch that back over. Got too many windows to keep track of. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play with the yellow in a different context. Yeah, this is one of the things I like about doing fall photos, that a lot of them are just man, this is just not a whole lot to change. They just look good. Yeah, I'm going to play with in a different context. Okay. So, yeah, I like how that looks. I'm really happy with the way this is composed, which is really unusual. I'm not usually totally happy with the composition straight out of the gate.
I was about to say, are you done?
Almost. But I got some masking to do, so...
I was that was what, 4 minutes?
Yeah, no, I told you, if we can get through this, we'll get another photo done. But, let's see, okay. I'm going to tell this the subject and see what it gets. The subject selection feature is really best suited for portraits. So, okay, it gave me that. I'm happy about this. And I can clean that up. All right, so I got the mill, which is what I want. Let's zoom in a more reasonable amount. Let's go to there. No, not quite. Let's go to 50%. And for anyone who's curious, this grist mill is still in operation. It does still do stuff. You can go tour it, which is really cool. Add brush and also because because this is in West Virginia, it is a mandatory requirement. And you all on stream didn't volunteer for this, but now you're part of it, so it's now a thing. It's a mandatory requirement that you get "Take Me Home, Country Road" stuck in your head. So, have at it.
Even though that song is not technically about West Virginia.
It absolutely is about West Virginia.
Everything that I've heard and read says it's actually about Western Virginia, not West Virginia.
Well, no, he was originally going to call it rhododendron, which is the West Virginia state flower.
Huh.
So, it's like, I don't know if he said anything different, after the song came out. I know the original, the original plan for it was to call it rhododendron. That might have changed because, the Blue Ridge Mountains are much more in Virginia than they are in West Virginia. And I'm not sure where the Shenandoah River is in West Virginia. I know it's in Virginia because it's one of the ones that runs through Shenandoah National Park. So, okay.
Imagine that. The Shenandoah River runs through Shenandoah National Park.
Isn't that great?
Surprise! Plot twist.
Yeah. Well, I found out an interesting thing today. In terms of it would make sense that Shenandoah National Park would run next to the Shenandoah River, but it's possible they just have the same route name. Here's my dumb thing for the day. I found out today that Cardiff Castle is actually in the city of Cardiff. Downtown Cardiff is easily visible from the castle's is basically in downtown. And it was it makes you think that makes perfect sense, but my first thought was they have the same namesake. Okay, there we go. We got the mill. Let's get some of the water. Is there an easy way to do this? No, there's really not. So we're gonna do a brush.
Okay, that's a poem.
See, you thought I was getting done quicker, and you beat me. Because now I gotta sit here and do this.
And this is one of the few times where this poem has a name already.
Ooh.
It named itself. The last line is the name of the poem. I will not be persuaded otherwise.
Is it a John Denver reference?
No. No, not at all. Not at all.
Damn. Then why even write it? Yes, I'm revealing my bias. Things are the more artistic something is determined entirely by how close it is to John Denver. It's a weird place to draw the line, but I don't care. You don't know me. Yeah, I know you do, but shut up. Stop smiling. Let's see. See, now that I know you're done, my hands are I'm trying to go come on, let's rush. My hand's nah, we're going to take our time. Hands no, you try to rush us, we're going to mess up.
To be fair, this is not a long poem at all. That's something that you may notice if you're watching this. My poems vary quite greatly in length.
Which is good.
One of the poems that I wrote earlier this year, one of the very, very few poems I wrote earlier this year, I think it was 4 lines in total.
I mean, haikus are 3.
Let's see. That poem was... In the face of adversity, we thrive, we strive, and learn to survive.
I remember that one, yeah.
It's the whole poem.
Yep.
And then we have poems that are 14 pages long.
Yep.
Definitely have more than one of those.
Well,
and that's okay.
For any Hamlet fans in the audience, Polonius will be happy with the short one. Brevity being the soul of wit. Okay. Yeah, alright, so now I've got the mill and the water selected. I can bring the texture up on them a little bit, make them stand out a little more, and then I can do a duplicate and invert. Take a shot from Thickless Cage.
If you have any beverage left.
I do, actually. I'm taking small sips because I know how often I do this. And here's where I'm going to bring the clarity down a bit. I'm going to dehaze up a little, keep that darkness while still softening the photo. And I can also push up the the oranges in that moment while not losing the gorgeous texture of the wood and of the water down there, which I really, really like. Yeah, that's actually looking pretty great. Wow, okay. I don't want to turn the texture up on this. Oh, no, I don't want to put the texture. I want to turn the texture down. Nah, too much. That's going the wrong way. Let's do it like that. And then, let's see. Let's leave the clarity where it was. 64. I'm going to bring the highlights up a little bit because I want to give it a bit of that dreamy quality, which I think is really cool.
It's also very appropriate for the poem.
Excellent. This is working out well. And then I'm going to come down and...
Are we in sync again?
Can we be Backstreet Boys again? Can we mix it up? Can we be, Avril Lavigne? No, I take that back. Let's not be Avril Lavigne. What one's mine? I'm on the 24 to 105. It's not changing much. I actually kind of like it as is, kind of like that. And then I want to come down to my vignetting. Just put a slight little vignette on it. Actually, no, take it back. It's better without. All right. So there we go. There's that photo. And we're going to take a peek at it before and after, just to see the difference. I don't think ShelbyLynn can see, but the rest of you can. And now I will bring up her poem, and she can tell us what she wrote. Ready?
It fits on one screen on my side.
It just about fits on one screen. Go for it.
Oh, to see our world through rose-tinted glasses. When you see the world with love, it's easier to believe, to find beauty in the unseen, and find your peace. We see the world differently when we look through the lens of love.
That is good.
And what's the name of the poem?
It's got to be Through the Lens of Love.
Yep.
Excellent.
Or just Lens of Love. Some variation of Lens of Love is what it shall be.
I like that a lot. I'm also going to do one more quick thing to this photo. Now I'm looking at it. This is always the thing. You step away, you step back. I'm going to do a new mask with a brush. Because I just want to take this area over here. And I'm going to do this kind of like that. Just get a section of it. We're going to push that a little more like that. As I try to match. There we go.
I have no idea what area you're working on.
Bottom corner.
Okay. I see it now.
Yeah, take that last brush stroke off. So I've done that, and now I'm going to subtract with a brush. I'm going to go with a smaller brush with more feathering and just sort of make this look a little more natural. There we go. To kind of match, because like this one side has a nice, we've got that nice edge from that one leaf. This side I want to give a little bit more too. So just do that. Give a little more on there. Add brush on top. Bring that down just a little touch right there. There we go. Cool. Yes, that one's done. That gives it a nice, almost gives it a little bit of cool vignetting. Just in now, it's got orange in all four corners, and I like that a lot. Let me see. Do you want to do anything to the mill now that I've said we're done with this photo and I've lied to all of you, which you don't deserve, but I'm still doing it. Yeah, I like that better. Looking at the thumbnail. Cool. 3 stars.
Gorgeous photo.
Absolutely gorgeous poem.
Thank you.
All right. Moving along to what was going to be our final poem of the night. We'll see if it's our final photo and poem of the night. We'll see if it still is. This one, which is our little leaf hanging out on under the water here. And I'm going to try with all my heart not to Sin City this poem or this photo and do the whole black and white thing with the one pop of color. I want to give it more than that. You were expecting me to do that, weren't you?
That was the first thing my brain thought of, and it fit the poem I was gonna go with.
All right, well, I'm gonna do it anyway then. Right, let's start by playing.
Okay, I won't say the other thing, but we are on the same page here.
All right.
So in this one, when I saw this photo for the first time, I immediately knew where we were headed with this, which is why I'm going to take some time to talk about it, because I don't have to rush, because I know exactly where it's going.
Good. And that gives me time to work on this.
That leaf under the water looks exactly like a butterfly. And I absolutely love that. And so over the years, I've written a lot of poems about like going from caterpillar to butterfly and growing in life as a butterfly. I don't know what it is with butterflies. I have one tattooed on me. I just like butterflies. It's fine. I think it's the metamorphosis that they go through.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I saw this photo, I immediately saw those leaves as a butterfly. And with it zoomed in, it doesn't look quite as much like a butterfly. It still does, but not quite as much. And so the thing that immediately jumped to my mind for this photo was the idea of, even in the midst of drowning, because we all know if a butterfly were actually in that photo, if it weren't leaves, that butterfly would be drowning. In the midst of drowning, you can still fly.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, that's immediately what jumped to my mind with this photo. So I'm very excited to write this poem.
Excellent choice. Well, go for it. I clean up some of my masking here.
So we're kind of going to make a full circle at this point.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, let's see. Let's bring the highlights up on that. The clarity up to really make it stand out. And then let's do a new mask that I'm going to do. Let's start with a brush. Try to get the edge here. I think I can do this. So we'll start like that and get this edge. I'm going to overdo it a little bit because I'm going to clean that up in a minute. And then I'm going to select all of this. And if you watched what I did with the butterfly, which is what I'm going to call it, I added, like, I brightened it up and I added the clarity, but I didn't add texture to it because I'm going to add texture to the water down here. But I want to subtract an object. And what I want to subtract is this rock. And hopefully this will give me that nice harsh edge that I want. So we'll see if that works. Because what I want to do is select the water. And I want to get the rock out of there so I can do something different with it. Yep, okay. Take Me on Country Roads is in my head. Yes. Happy about this.
Is Stephanie watching?
Right now it says we have no viewers, so it's hard to say.
Okay.
But then again, I've known this thing to be not totally accurate, so it's up in the air.
If Stephanie jumps online, Stephanie, if you're on, please comment. Either warn her, or if you're here, this is your warning. You might not want to listen to this poem.
Uh-oh. Well, we'll issue another warning right before you read it.
Yeah. Yeah. It would help if my hands were working correctly.
Valid. Cool. Duplicate and invert. Take a shot. Color range. Brush. Add brush. Because I just want that rock. Just want a rock. All right. Okay. Can't say I expected the photo to go this direction. It's where I'm taking this. Let's keep going. What do you think?
It's gorgeous.
Finally force Aqua to do something. This is the thing I've talked about before on stream, with the way you do color versus luminance, or saturation versus luminance. Whereas with saturation, anything I'm adjusting, I usually want them to sort of be close to each other, so that there's not a really harsh transition between green and aqua and blue and so on. Because like if I take the aquas and crank them up, you see this area here that's greenish and this area here that's aqua. If I zoom in, like, you see kind of that harsh edge there on the aquas. I don't want the aquas to feel like they flow smoothly. However, with luminance, you kind of want the opposite, because if I brighten the greens up and keep the aquas dark, yeah, it creates a difference, but it also creates contrast, which is really good in this. At least for me, I think it's really cool. All right, let's come back up to our rock up here, because the rock is not quite where I want it to be yet. Stand by. This is the crop that I want for the most part. Let's change this to a 4x5. Then bring it up. Bring it over. Actually, hang on a second. Let's go back to what it was. Get to there. That's better. There we go. Okay. Now I'm starting to see something here. And if we do
That's all there is to say.
Yeah, you're happy?
Yeah, no. I don't know that this poem is going to need edits.
Ooh, that's exciting.
This might be one of the few that's just going to stay exactly how it is.
That's really exciting. Oh, no, I want to do something with that rock. That rock is still throwing me off. And brush, let me see the overlay. Cool. I'm going to add this area in here. I want to get a little more of that area. Excellent. Turn the overlay off. Looking good. I never thought this photo was going to go this direction.
It's gorgeous, though.
I like it. It's a lot more rich than I expected it to be, and I'm a big fan of that. Okay. How you doing?
I'm done.
Excellent.
That is a wrap on that poem.
Get almost done. Cool. I'm done with this one. You ready to tell us your poem?
I can, yeah.
Let me do a quick little before and after on this one, just to see the difference. And just mostly, this one's all about the colors and all about just the with like for me. And I don't know. Should I tell you what I'm thinking about it before?
Mhm.
Okay, so my thought here, like going with the butterfly idea, is that like this is about learning to fly and about trying to get to the kind of, my thought was that like let's put the butterfly in the bottom corner so that it feels like it's on a journey kind of up toward the sky and up and away, and made the rock kind of as if this curvy line here on the water's edge is the horizon. That's kind of right.
I love when we're on the same page.
Excellent. Well, let's see what page
It's
you're
perfect.
on.
All right. Stephanie, this is your final warning before I read this photo.
Yeah, Stephanie, maybe check out on this one.
Probably gonna make you cry. I love you. Probably gonna make you cry.
You're doing this to us all night.
She was unseen, except by those who tried to drown her. They tried to silence her, and yet she refused to be drowned or silenced. She knew there were greater things awaiting her just past the horizon. She knew how to fly and how to stay alive, even under the weight of the water. She chose to fly and to survive. She found strength in the ones above water who cast ripples to remind her they were there. She found hope in the air above, so far away, yet just out of reach. She fought. And now she will fly straight for the life she longed for, one where no one will ever drown her or try to silence her voice, the one where her wings remind everyone she meets they tried to drown the most beautiful butterfly.
Not allowed to do this to people. This is
what I do.
Darn beautiful. Wow. Okay.
I have one poem from many years ago that was about how my poems are designed to cut
hurt people
rivers down your cheeks with your tears.
Yep. No, that's gonna work. Yeah. Damn, that's beautiful.
It's
really, really beautiful.
And like I said, on the exact same page with this photo.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Reaching for the shoreline there. Excellent. Okay.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, seriously. Okay.
Are you good for one more?
I'm good for. Are you good for one more?
I am.
We said if it was before 10, we'd go for one more. All right. Let's see what we've got left. We've got. Let's see that one. I'm trying to avoid doing two photos from the same location, or at least two photos from the same day. Like you can do them from different spots. So, yep, Stephanie's crying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Love you.
We do. We love you. Let's see. Let's do. It's a toss up between these two, but I know which one I want to do, so we're gonna do this one.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh! I was hoping this was gonna be the one.
Yeah. No, I've been thinking about this one. This is the one we're gonna do.
Same fucking page.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, we have got 6 minutes to do this. Nah, guys, we'll do as long as we need to. All right. Let's see. Yeah, there's not a lot I want to do with this. This one's.
I can't believe you picked the one that I was sitting here crossing my fingers for. Perfect.
So this photo is moonlight on the water down in North Carolina. Believe it or not, this is a photo that's in color.
There's color in that?
That's photo. Yeah, no, this is what it looks like in black and white. That's what it looks like in color. If I crank the saturation up, you'll be able to see it.
Okay.
That's color. That's black and white. I like this in color, actually. I actually like the saturation being way up on this one. So, I'm going to change my background so I can get a better sense of kind of where the edges are. All right, so.
can I write a poem that won't make everyone cry with this photo?
Why would you ever want to do that?
Because we've already cried like 3 times.
I mean, bring it home.
This stream is much more emotional than the last one we did.
It is. No, this one's hitting us in a beautiful way.
Yeah. It's the water.
It's water. It really is. All right, let's crop this a little bit. Not much. Let's do a 4x5. Gonna be too much. No, that actually works really well. We'll do a 4x5. Do that. Yeah, for those, like, I usually, like, I you know, oftentimes, like, I'll start cropping at a certain aspect ratio, and then sometimes I'll change it. But in this case, like, yeah, I think, actually, no, you know what? I don't want this to be a 4x5. Now I think about it, I want this to be tall. I want it to stop there, but I want it to come out like that. I want this to be a very tall photo. There we go. Yeah, okay. So now, I'm going to play with this. I'm going to do a color range of the darker areas. And I'm going to darken them down and turn the shadows down. And as I adjust this, I'm going to be able to adjust exactly what parts of this are dark. So I like a high contrast. I really like the idea that the edge of this photo, yeah, that we only got this along the edge. So we're gonna push this all the way up, just like that. And then I'm gonna add a, let's see, add linear gradient. All right, don't want to add it to that one. I want to do a new mask. New mask with a linear gradient, just like that. There we go. Kind of get right like that. Come right along that edge. And I try not to bring the exposure down. Bringing the exposure down just blacks everything out, and that's not super helpful. What I want to do is bring down certain things. So if I bring down the whites, now I've still darkened it, but I haven't just painted it black. Which is what you would do if I went to Photoshop and did this. That's not true. You could do exactly what I just did here in Photoshop, and it'd be fine. All right, let's go back to the crop. I'm gonna crop this down a little bit more now that we've changed it up a little bit. Though, there's something about that space above and below. It's kind of nice. Get my window back here. There we go. There's something about that that's kind of nice. Let's come down here to our colors. Yellow luminance is something. Orange is going to be a little better. And again, I'm talking contrast. I want to crank the yellows up and take the oranges down. A little bit of red. Let's turn that down as well. Let's come up here to our orange, or to our yellows, and push them a little bit more toward orange. Wait, actually, let's take that back. Let's go the other direction. Let's push the oranges. Okay, my hand's starting to cramp up now. Yeah, leave that alone. Right, ooh, I just had an idea. I wonder if I can do this. If I take this mask, and what's probably for the final time tonight, duplicate and invert. Take a shot. God bless Nicholas. Also, if you're watching, thank you to Eric Brown for getting me this phenomenal mug for Christmas. This almost has a nice, like, audio waveform kind of feel to it. Let's see. Yeah, I really need to crop that down to about here. Come on, Lightroom. Hey, we had the Lightroom not responding. That doesn't happen very often. This is exciting. Gotta wait. How you doing, ShelbyLynn? She's good. I'm just stuck here waiting at this point. Oh, there we go. Lightroom does not want to do this to this photo. Jeez. The funny thing is it still looks fine on ShelbyLynn's screen. Nothing. I'm trying to change something about the photo and it's not. Well, yeah, I did that. You can see
that's purple.
It is purple.
Are you aware?
Yes. No, that was intentional.
That's a me photo right there.
Yeah. No, I thought you'd appreciate that.
That is the purple mermaid photo of my dreams.
This is good that we're gonna finish up on this one because Lightroom is not happy with what I'm trying to do to this photo right now. Man, this is good. The stream starts and ends with technical difficulties. Actually, really happy with how this looks though. Cool. Okay. Okay, anything I do to this, Lightroom is having issues with, so we're gonna wait for a bit and just look at this for now. Ultimate, I think I'm pretty much done. How are you doing?
It's a good thing you're waiting.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's see. It'll let me do it. 1, 2. Well, let me do 1. Come on, Lightroom. We're so close. By the way, if you want to support the channel, a lot of the proceeds are going to go to getting me a computer that doesn't do this.
Is it upside down?
It is, and it's about to flip one more time.
Okay. It just looked up and was very confused.
Mm-hmm. It would have been more surprising if you looked up when it was switched to landscape, which it thinks it's done. It's still working on that. But Lightroom, come on, man, you're embarrassing me on stream, Lightroom. This is like, don't do this to me, Adobe. When worse about trying to do After Effects. That's a stream we're never gonna do. We're never gonna do ShelbyLynn writes poems while Eric tries to do visual effects for a film. It's never gonna happen. Though I would love to hear the poem you write about keyframing.
I don't even know what that is.
You're better off. Your life is simpler. Now I'm just doing this on a loop. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I'm gonna stand here and look at my phone for a second. But yeah, so you can see in the thumbnail what I want this photo to be. Oh, there we go. No photo selected. Select. We good? Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, cool. And we're gonna switch this back to. Let's get back to a darker gray, or just regular dark gray. There we go. Now I'm just stalling. But yeah, so that's this photo. And the reason I went with this is because the night I took this photo, this is down at the beach where the pier is. This is a couple days before, and we had what was it, a strawberry moon that night? Or was it a rose moon?
It was a strawberry moon.
It's a strawberry moon, yeah. So it was one of those full moons that when it rises, it looks very pink. And I think I've edited a couple of photos from that shoot on stream before. If you check back on some of the old ones, but yeah, I was like, this is taken that same night when the moon had risen up higher and was just lighting the water, and I was like, yeah, let's do a photo where, all right, let's honor that in this shot and do it. And do it this way. So, and then the rotating, I think it looks aesthetically more interesting that way. So, yeah. ShelbyLynn, how are you at? Where are you at?
Almost.
Excellent. Take your time. I'm scared to try to do anything else with this photo, so I'm going to leave it alone. But yeah, that's what it looks like.
Again, we're leaning to the side a little bit.
Yeah, that's... If you hadn't completely come in and wrecked us all with your emotional poetry, this would have been... The theme for the night would have been, why are we looking at this sideways? Which, to be fair, my Instagram is twisted in nature.
Yeah, it works perfectly.
Yeah, we are just look at things sideways, but not for its own sake. All right, here's to the last duplicate and invert, and cheers to all of you people, and to Thickles. By the way, if you're a Nick Cage fan, keep an eye out. Last Wave, Curse of the Nicolas Cage Surfboard, coming soon. It's one of the films I'm working on right now. I'd say more, but ShelbyLynn doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Nope, not at all.
Gleefully just makes me giddy. So, but yeah, gonna go ahead and filter this by rated, so we'll be able to see.
I think that's it.
Yeah?
I don't think there's anything to add to this.
You ready to share?
I think so.
Right.
This one is probably going to get some tweaks.
Makes
some
sense.
definite tweaks down the line.
Yep. All right, let's pull this up for you. Go for it.
On the darkest night, on the loneliest raft, in the peaceful sea, you saw me. I'd given up my fight and lost my craft on the infinite sea where I'd chosen to flee. In that dark sea you found me, and while yes, you'd never truly lost me, I had lost myself and all I could be. You brought me back to me, like a lighthouse upon the shore, guiding wayward sailors home. I'd been lost deep within myself, not remembering or knowing who I was meant to be. And yet, you always saw me. You always believed. And I've returned to me.
That's an excellent way to end tonight. That's a beautiful way to bring
I'm going to make myself cry now.
Yes, we got her. And that actually works really well, because I was like, one of the things I like about doing the photo this way is that it kind of gives me the feeling of like stalactites hanging down. And so the idea of Stephanie says, here we go again.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You shouldn't be. Your art is doing what art was meant to do. But like, yes, I see stalactites hanging down. So the idea of following the light to guide you out of the cave and into something better is, yeah, I think.
Are you gonna leave it purple?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm leaving it purple. I like
it
purple. It means something to me for that night. It means something to us, and because that's a color that you love. It's yeah.
It also fits very, very well with that poem.
It does. It really does. All right, let's jump back to the library here and do a grid view so we can see the photos we edited. And there's our collection for the night. We've got, there we go, zoomed in a little much. Let's go back one more. There we go, stay like that. Yeah, so there's our collection of the 6 photos we edited, plus the one we kicked off the stream with. Stephanie says, you're cute. And then says, you're also cute. So I'm assuming
one of those is for you and one of those for me.
Both for you.
You are also cute.
But yeah, so if any of these photos are of interest to you, you can, they will be available on my website, which if you go to erichackler.com/photography, you can find it there. The poems will be published both on my website and on ShelbyLynn's website, which we will be putting in the video description, so you'll be able to find them there. And as well, probably on our Instagram. Eventually, we got to take her poems and make them into cool graphics.
Yeah.
So look for that in a month. But
roughly.
Yeah, give or take. I'm bad at this. I'm sorry. But yeah. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us on this. Thank you for letting us be part of your evening and to share our process with you. I love that I'm looking at the photos and I'm like, there's some of these I could have guessed what we were going to do with them. some of them I really didn't know. And I love that we got to do this in real time and to share this with all of you.
And we really got to go on a journey
We did.
with the poems tonight.
Thanks.
It was
Yeah, no,
it was a very great, like, we went full circle and then a little bit.
Yes, and it's credit to your poetry that tied this very bizarre collection of photographs together, which I think we did a fairly decent job doing, like, talking about exploring water. You explored it, it emotionally and the journey water can take you on, and I explored it in how many weird things can I do to a water picture? How many?
It's great.
It is. No, there's something just unimaginably beautiful about, like, something that's so diverse being so unifying. And yeah, that's what. Yes, Stephanie just has a very wet eyes journey. So there we go. There we go. There's the real water was the friends you made along the way, and the tears you cried, and whatever the heck the end of Lost was on about. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for letting us be part of this, or thank you for being part of this with us and letting us share this with you. And look forward to doing more of these streams in the future. We'll keep you posted on what our next theme is going to be.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I'll be doing more live streams, hopefully on a semi-regular basis. I say that every time, and it's always a lie, and it's a lie this time too. But be doing more streams and doing more photo editing and sharing some more cool places and worlds and adventures with you, whether they are in photograph, in poem, or in life. So, with that all said, let me find the button to close us out. Thank you again. Thank you from me. Thank you from ShelbyLynn. And until next time, be safe, be well, make art, and yeah, keep sharing the work that you do, because what we do is important. Have a good night.